flow into gratitude for this mathematical thriller, the Omega Hypercube paradox. A particle is placed at the exact center of a four-dimensional cube. Its mission is simple: survive an infinite journey. But every single step it takes is controlled by one of the most complicated mathematical systems ever imagined. At the beginning of every step, the universe asks one question: should the particle rotate, or should it reflect? The answer is never random. First, the universe builds an impossibly complex probability. It starts by multiplying together an endless chain of numbers that keep changing with every step. Then it combines that with another quantity created from two famous number theory functions, Euler's totient function and the Mobius function. Next, it mixes in the sign of that result, an exponential decay, and a natural logarithm. Only after all of that does the universe finally calculate a single probability. That one probability decides everything. If the particle is chosen to rotate, it rotates inside four-dimensional space. But even the angle of rotation is not chosen freely. The angle is calculated by solving a definite integral, a mathematical expression that measures the accumulated effect of infinitely many tiny contributions across an interval. If the particle is chosen to reflect instead, exactly one coordinate is flipped. But which coordinate? That answer is secretly controlled by counting how many divisors every positive integer has had throughout the entire journey. The integers themselves decide which direction reality flips. Then something even stranger happens. After every single move, the entire universe stretches. A transformation matrix reshapes the particle's position. Every tiny change spreads into every future step. Nothing stays isolated. Every decision echoes forever. But the universe is not finished. Whenever the current step number happens to be a prime number, the particle receives an invisible push. That push is calculated from a three-dimensional integral taken over an entire sphere. Inside that integral are trigonometric waves, geometry, multivariable calculus, and gradients, all working together to change the particle's future. Then another surprise. Whenever the step number is a perfect square, reality bends again. The particle is compressed by a nonlinear equation. Then another integral adds a carefully weighted direction to its motion. The journey becomes even more unstable. And then, the Fibonacci numbers arrive. Whenever the current step belongs to the Fibonacci sequence, the universe changes its own probability law. The rules that governed every previous decision are rewritten. The future begins operating under a different mathematical reality. As the journey continues forever, three enormous mathematical structures are built. The first keeps track of the particle's entire history by adding together every square distance it has ever traveled, giving smaller and smaller weight to later steps. The second multiplies together an infinite chain of correction factors, each depending on everything that came before. The third gathers all of that information into one final integral, compressing the entire infinite journey into a single mathematical object. And then, the ultimate question appears. Suppose this journey continues forever, not for 1,000 steps, not for 1 trillion steps, forever. Will the final expression settle to one exact value, or will it never settle at all? If it does settle, what is the exact value? Is that value an ordinary algebraic number? Is it a transcendental number like pi or Euler's number? Or is it something that no algorithm can ever compute exactly?
If the particle had started from a different position, how many starting positions would completely change the outcome? Can the size of that mysterious set be measured using fractal geometry? Can the long-term uncertainty of the entire journey be calculated exactly? What happens if one ancient number theory function is replaced with another? Does the entire behavior of the universe change? Can the final answer be written using only the greatest constants in mathematics? Or is such a formula forever impossible? And finally, perhaps the most terrifying question of all, is this puzzle merely difficult? Or is it fundamentally beyond the power of any computer, any mathematician, and perhaps any civilization to solve exactly? That is the Omega Hypercube paradox, a mathematical thriller where probability, calculus, geometry, number theory, linear algebra, Infinite series, matrices, prime numbers, Fibonacci numbers, fractals, and computational complexity are not separate subjects. They are all suspects in the same mystery. Your challenge is not simply to solve the equations. Your challenge is to discover whether the equations can ever be solved at all.